There are several techniques you can use to select objects in Vectorworks, the majority of which center around the selection tool. In this video, we'll cover this tool's basic usage. The keyboard shortcut for this tool is the X key on the keyboard. We understand that most users will already be completely familiar with the various uses of the mouse and the various names for different clicking techniques. However, to completely understand the selection tool, as well as the other tools in Vectorworks, it's imperative that you have this knowledge, so we will cover it briefly now. For all Vectorworks documentation, click means to press the left side of your mouse and then release. Some mice do not have obvious buttons, but all standard mice have at least two areas that you can use to click. Right-clicking means to press the right side of your mouse and then release. Double-clicking means to press the left side in rapid succession twice. If you do this too slowly, it will only register as 2 single clicks. Clicking and dragging means to press and hold down the left side of the mouse and then move your cursor to a new location. When most objects in Vectorworks are clicked and dragged, a faded representation of the object being dragged will appear to help you determine where you wish to place it. The first things that many users will find unclear is what objects, if any, they have selected. This can be determined by looking at the top of the object info palette, which by default appears at the top right of the screen and should be kept available at all times. If you activate the selection tool and hover your cursor over an object, you'll see an orange glow appear that traces the line work of the object you're hovering the mouse over. This is referred to as pre-selection indication and is designed to give you an idea of what you're about to click on before you click on it. If you click on an object, a darker orange highlighting will appear, indicating that the object has been selected. For objects that can be reshaped or interacted with by the selection tool, you'll see one or more blue squares. These are called handles. If you click on a blank area again, the object will be deselected and you'll have no selection. If you click immediately on another object after selecting the first object, your selection will switch to the most recently clicked on object. Many menu commands and tools are dependent on what types of objects are already selected, not just on what objects you click on after activating the tool. If you click a blank area of your document, or if you press Escape or X twice on your keyboard, you'll have no object selected. The object info palette will then display No Selection at the top. To select multiple objects by clicking on them individually, hold down the Shift key and continue clicking on objects just as with regular selection. Each object you click on will be added to your selection, and the object info palette will display how many objects you have selected. To remove an object from the selection, keep holding down Shift and click on the object you wish to deselect again. To select large numbers of objects in a specific area of the screen, click and drag the cursor. By default, you'll see a rectangular selection area appear. This is called the selection marquee. Any objects completely covered by this marquee will be selected. Objects that you cross over with the marquee area, but do not completely cover, will not be selected. This first mode was called rectangular marquee. However, there are 2 others you can use as well. These are highlighted here in the toolbar. A lasso marquee allows you to click and hold to draw a freehand marquee selection within the document. Anywhere covered by this highlighted area will be selected. Polygonal marquee mode allows you to draw a complex or precise shape with a series of single clicks, double-clicking to end the selection drawing. If you want the marquee to select all objects it crosses over, even if it doesn't encompass them completely, press or hold the Alt or Option key on the keyboard. Then click and drag as before. You can see here how the selection behavior differs with this key held down. The first 3 modes in the toolbar control what kind of reshaping the selection tool will perform on the selected objects. The first mode, Disabled Interactive Scaling mode, will not allow the selection tool to reshape any objects. You can move and align them, but you will not see the blue selection handles at all. The second mode is the default for the tool, Single Object Interactive Scaling mode. This will allow you to see and manipulate the selection handles with one object selected, but if you add another object to the selection, the handles will disappear and you'll only be able to move the objects, not reshape them. The third mode, Unrestricted Interactive Scaling mode, allows you to both reshape a single object when selected, as well as when you have multiple reshapeable objects selected, reshaping multiple objects at the same time. The same reshaping you perform on one object will be repeated on all objects in your current selection with this mode enabled. The fourth option on the toolbar is Wall Insertion Mode. This controls whether objects that are capable of insertion into wall objects will attempt to do so when you click and drag them on top of one with the selection tool. If it is enabled, when you click and drag a door, window, or other insertable object over a wall, the wall will highlight in red, and then upon releasing the cursor, the object will insert itself. If disabled, clicking and dragging the object over top of the wall will have no effect, and releasing the cursor will simply drop the dragged object. With this option enabled, you won't be able to remove inserted objects from walls either. This is a common issue that users can come across. The final mode in the toolbar will only appear if you have the Architect or Landmark modules installed. Connected Walls mode allows the selection tool to reshape walls without breaking the wall network. As you can see here, these 4 walls are all connected to form a room. With this mode enabled, I can click one of the walls and drag it away. The other walls will stretch to accommodate this change and remain connected. With this mode disabled, clicking and dragging on a wall will break it completely away from the other walls and allow you to place it anywhere with no connections to the walls it was previously linked to. This tool is easily one of the most used of all the tools in Vectorworks. Understanding what it's for and how to use it properly are some of the most important things we can cover here in our tutorials.